my first time in Brazil, and I'm very excited to join you in this event. Thank you very much for coming to this. And, well, I'm looking forward to hear your. I arrived on Sunday night, and while I was waiting for my luggage, 4 people around me collecting their suitcases with broken wheels. Well, if you come home, that's okay, more or less. But imagine that you're like me, coming for an event or for holiday, so it's right to happen to you. Thought sometimes what it means to develop all the facilities that are behind the walls at the airports that handle our luggages. From the moment we check in until the moment we receive our suitcases and everything at our. Okay, so these kind of projects are interesting projects, challenging projects. And for example, Ulma Handling Systems is developing such type of projects. And they are also developing other type of projects, like building intelligent warehouses for large companies for sorting and managing and whatever the usage of these warehouses. So in these projects, they involve mechanical engineers, hardware engineers, software development. There is lots of software development in such type of projects. All in the entire project is like a tiny part. Logistics. Teams of specialists are involved in these types of projects in order to make them happen. These are long 2 years, 2 years and a half. Tens of thousands of millions of euros is the budget of such a project. They work with different suppliers. Some of these suppliers require the specifications for the components they have to deliver with 6 up to 9 months in advance. Imagine what it would mean for this project if afterwards you have to ask for changes to this component. And also they have to meet a number of regulatory requirements. Very strict regulatory requirements. Okay, so you know this brand handling system here in Sao Paulo, Belém. I hope you know it. And now think as a company manager. They are doing not 1 or 2 of these projects. 50, 80, 100, 120 projects. And they are not the only company like this. So let's see what you think about such type of projects, how easy you find them. So raise your hand if you think, one, that these projects are easy. I have managed several of them, several times, and nothing can surprise me in such types of projects. Okay, no hands. Okay, raise your hand if you think that these are regular difficulty projects, because there might be some unexpected issues that could occur in the project, but you are quite confident that you can manage them. Okay, no hands. And the third option is complex projects, because the project results depend on several stakeholders, and all these stakeholders live in the context of frequent changes and dependencies on other stakeholders, etc. The technical solution is complex, and the technical solution is always unique. Okay, yeah, we agree here. So these are really complex projects, and this is not situations in industrial engineering companies, in pharmaceutical companies, in insurance companies, in banks. And these companies need, I want to go back, these companies need the because they have to cope with all these difficulties and challenges that they meet during the implementation. Running such a project is a matter of the entire enterprise. The entire companies have to be involved and have to have the right tools in their hands in order to achieve the objectives of these projects. Achieving the objectives endeavors has a huge impact on the business, huge impact, because a delay of one day could be tens of thousands of euros, and they simply cannot afford it. So their competitiveness depends, the competitiveness of their business depends on how well they cope with such initiatives. However, from the latest report from last year, and what we see here is that only 16% of the companies, 16 are applying practices of enterprise agility. And from those 16%, 23% only are finding practices useful for the organization. So in total, 16% of the companies apply practices at organizational level, and only 4% of all the companies are happy with what they achieve. And these are data after 20 years of applying and knowing and talking about Agile. Not quite a big achievement. And those companies need really effective practices for being able to do this kind of process in order to be able to react quickly and adequately to all the changes that happen in their business environment. So, only can these outcomes at company level, at business level, if we only talk about things. Do you believe so? Raise your hand if you think that we can achieve this. We can hardly achieve this, right? During the last 10 years, we've been using Kanban in integration together with other project management methods to improve the project management processes and practices in the companies. And what I'm telling you is based on our experience companies. You can see the data, most of them, 58% of them, are small and medium-sized enterprises, but 42%, this is not a small number, are large organizations. And these companies come from different industries. More than half of them, 54%, are from the industrial engineering sector, 19% bank and insurance, 15% IT, 12% retail and marketing, and also 46% of these companies had previously Agile practices in order to improve their project management, and 4% were transitioning from predictive management methods. Okay. Of course, before daring to try Kanban and Kanban project and portfolio management, they had other approaches. Some of them are these one. The four approaches are the most frequently one. Realize that in fact these approaches are not. The first one, naturally, try to increase the productivity of the individuals, of the people in the company. How do they do this? Assigning more tasks to them, more jobs to the people. What is the effect of this? The people become, instead of using wisely and correctly their time, they waste their time in multitasking and just jumping between priorities, in committing errors because of stress, and then afterwards they have to fix these errors or these bugs if it's software development, precisely because they did it in a very stressful situation. This approach leads, instead of leading to developing and finishing more deliverables, more products, exactly the opposite. Not finishing. productivity of the organization. The people are busy, yes, they are busy. However, as an organization, they achieve less. Another approach, increase the productivity, because when they see that they have the feeling that they are losing control of their projects, they try to request more reporting more frequently. Initially, like 10 years ago, the project status reports were expected once a month, afterwards every 2 weeks, now every week. Requires the overhead management work to the people involved collecting and providing data, and again, instead of working focused, taking the right work items for the project, they spend their time in overhead tasks, which is again something that they save. They do not bring value to the project. A third approach, hire more people. When they see that we not manage to reach our deadlines, of course we need more people. But hiring more people requires more tasks. Onboarding these new people by people already too busy in other projects. They simply don't have time to onboard newcomers, and also requires new level, additional intermediate level of coordinators. Was also requiring the worst thing is that adding more people instead of speeding up the delivery and the development was slowing it down. Why? Because the time for decision making becomes longer, because it has to go through different levels. Approach that doesn't work. And the fourth one is using cross-functional teams or restructuring the entire organization. In one of the companies in UK, the company we were in the first meeting with them, they told us after organization, we lost more than 20% of our senior staff. And now we are in a situation people work 12 hours a day, 6 days. We hardly achieve the objectives of the projects, and we either lose customers or people. So the situation was really critical. So that doesn't work. Why are all these approaches failing to help the companies that run large projects, complex projects, to achieve their objectives? The answer is very simple. They do not address the root causes for these challenges. So it seems that for organizations, it seems that it is impossible with the difficulties in their projects. So shall we give up? There should be a key, right? Do you believe that there is an answer to this, a solution to this challenge? Let me see, raise your hands. Okay, yes. Before talking about what these companies, what is agility, what is organizational agility, what does it mean? We understand that organizational agility is the ability of an organization to move fast towards their purpose, their objectives, overcoming all the barriers that they meet on the road, all the challenges. Do you find this definition reasonable? Okay. So if we think that this could be an appropriately right definition of organizational agility, so the key elements of agility then would be fast feedback first, because if we do not get fast feedback about what challenges we have, what problems we have, what blockages we have in our projects, of course we won't be able to resolve them quickly. So the first thing is having fast feedback. The second thing is being able to take rapid decisions, because if we are aware that there is a problem in the project but we are not capable to make fast decisions, we go late, right? And the third element is the capability to execute these actions quickly. Otherwise, it happens that, yes, we were aware of something. Yes, we took a decision. But somehow we had so many things to do that in the end we have not put the decision into practice, and therefore we do not achieve the effect. So these are the 3 key elements of achieving organizational agility. And it's not only about agility, it's also about adaptability in a context that is changing every day, because the market is changing, technologies are changing, customers are changing, suppliers are changing their expectations and their requirements. So we understand that adaptability is the capability of the organization to sustain, to adjust and to sustain their functions, their services, what they deliver to their customers in different conditions. Something that has changed in the context. So, of course, in order to develop this capability, we have to obtain fast feedback. The organizations have to be able to take fast decisions, has to be able to act quickly and adequately, and in addition, the organization has to be able to learn from their experience in order to be able to decide in these new circumstances what would be the right action or what would be the right activities that we have to do. And in addition to this, they have to act as one company. They have to align around the new objectives, around the new decision of actions that they have taken. Only if all this happens, then we can say that an organization really has the capability to react quickly and to adapt to the changes conditions. So instead of thinking of what practices we have to apply, what practices work for somebody, and maybe we are not sure whether they would work for our organization or not, we focus on thinking what we can do for the organizations in order for them to obtain fast feedback, to be able to make decisions, and to be able to execute these actions quickly. So how do we do this? Of course, team level. 84% of the organizations are here. We have to develop, at least we have to provide means, facilities for these teams that are involved in the projects to be able to manage their work, to be able to see what they have as a team and how they can act in this situation. Okay, so these simple Kanban boards, yes, provide feedback, yes, help the teams to make their team decisions and do what they are expected to do. Is this enough? No, this is far from enough if we want to manage projects. So we need, in order to manage projects of this type that we mentioned in the beginning, we need to see the work end to end, from the project charter until the final project delivery to the customer, from the idea for a product until the final delivery of the product to the market, or from the idea about the service until this delivery of the service on the market. Because when we are talking about Kanban project and portfolio management, we borrow the definition of Project Management Institute that a project delivers products or services all together, plus additional results that might be included in the scope of the project. So it is important, if we really want to manage complex projects, we need this end-to-end visibility and need this end-to-end synchronized work of all the teams of specialists that might be involved, that are involved. So we need a Kanban board or a means to visualize the project work at a single place in such a way that with this Kanban board or this visualization of the entire project provides the feedback about the situation of the project at a glance for all project stakeholders, and also facilitates the decision making in the entire project team. Okay? Is this enough? No, because this could work for one project, 2 projects, but in an organizations that run 50, 100 projects, this is not enough. So again, thinking as a manager of the company, or at least as a project portfolio managers, we need to provide some means for visualizing the entire portfolio, the status of all the projects together. Why? Because the projects are not islands. They share, in many occasions, they share people who work in different projects. So it is important to understand how these people are involved in different projects and when they available for one project or for another project. So we need to understand also the technical dependencies, not only the dependencies on the resource, but the technical dependencies between the projects if we want to manage the entire business of the organization correctly. Okay? So, because I started with an example of systems from here, I would like you to listen to Asier Aguirre. Asier Aguirre is Senior Project Manager in Ulma Handling Systems. So let's see what kind of solution they use for managing these projects that I mentioned. Just a second.